Hello. Welcome to the Soul Thrill Research mini session. I'm Rose Rosetree, and this is what I will call Gladys. And when you do Soul Thrill research, you get input directly from your own aura about different choices that you might make. In the first part of this research, I am going to be doing what's called a baseline reading about Gladys. And then I'm going to go forward and have her tell me one research item at a time. And I have a skill set, an advanced skill set of RES energy reading to give feedback on the impact of that particular choice. I changed the diagram in the background in case you're very observant, because the chakra data banks I'm going to read in the baseline for you, Gladys. Let me just introduce you. Soul Thrill at the high heart chakra, that's about doing what makes you happy as a person. And that's very, very important for having a good life. So let me tell you about the next one that I'll be doing in this sequence. It's for physical health. It's a root chakra data bank. And this is overall how your health is going. Important disclaimer from the perspective of someone who works in energy spirituality. I'm not a medically trained person. I flunked biology in college. I'm really not the person you would want for your doctor or homeopathic practitioner or anything. It's just a perspective overall. Just had to say. It's important because of the research items we're going to be doing, which are about food. And then the next one that we'll do is a heart chakra data bank about emotional growth. And that means authentically really growing, not just at the level where this is read, the level that corresponds to your subconscious mind, astral level within your aura. This is not a BS zone where people tell themselves stories or have been told things that they really think ought to help, but they don't help. And similarly, we can be doing nothing or whatever and having wonderful spiritual growth. So we'll find out in the baseline how you're doing, and then we'll find out the impact of these choices, because every choice you make in life, how you spend your time, what you eat, what you study, how you pray, who you love, etc., impacts all of your chakra data banks. So by doing Soul Thrill research, you get to have some perspective on what's going on deep down in a way where it just blurts right out. It blurts out. I blurt it out as the one doing the reading, which can sometimes bring some clarity and sometimes shake up people's ideas. Speaking of which, the last of these 4 data banks is the one for spiritual growth. And that means really evolving spiritually. It does not mean being faithful to the old-time beliefs that you were given, etc., or pleasing an authority figure. It means, is there an impact on spiritual growth? So, I would like to lead off in the baseline by asking, well, even to do this, overall intention for what we're doing. Can it be to accelerate your personal growth?
Sure.
Okay, so that's the underlying way that I'm helping you in this research. Congratulations, that sounds like a laudable goal to me.
Yes.
And is it okay if we have God helping, or do you want a different
God.
arrangement? God! And that's your version of God, not some other bizarro world version. All right, so God, I've already done preliminary things to be co-creating with you and using my power of command to do these readings. The RES preparation process is all set up. The room is set up, and I'm so eager to tell you about you in the now. I'm going to start off with the spiritual growth third eye chakra data bank. And for this chakra data bank only, I'm going to tell you about a lifelong gift for your soul. That's not about how you're doing now. It's sort of like how you have finger prints that you make with your fingertip, and that tends to be there for your whole life. So, are you interested in your soul level gift for spiritual growth in this lifetime?
Very much.
I thought so. I want the first thing I tell you about your aura to be something nice. All right, back soon. Oh, and if you're not making a little mini loop with your hands, you have like palms up or whatever, it's so much easier for me to read your aura. Haha! I accept having it be easy. Oh, darling person. So stubborn, so intent on growing spiritually, and you will not let anything or anyone or any fear stop you. You know, if you think back to the life you've had so far and you're just getting started, probably makes sense to you. It's beautiful. Nice choice to pack in your suitcase when you incarnated. So now I'll tell you the rest of the time just how it's doing, the symbolic size and the quality, and they can always be better. One way to have things better is to make good choices, including how you feed yourself. So for now, baseline spiritual growth, how it's doing. It's at about 14 feet, and what's so adorable to me about the quality of this data bank is that you have gone through the equivalent of a sort of safe earthquake in this data bank, and I think it has to do with how, before we made this recording, you have been in my Empath Empowerment for a Stronger Sense of Self workshop, and you know, you got a real blast out, wake up opportunity. And it wasn't even totally pleasant at the time, but you're really starting to have some authentic spiritual growth now. Great. Isn't that interesting? Although there was no catechism, no dogma, no credo. RES is good for spiritual growth, for people who are interested in it, it seems to me. Anyhow, now on over to Soulful, which is the data bank I'll usually be reading first. How are you doing for Soulful? Well, right now it's 1/8 of an inch. You're stuck. Like most human beings, don't be discouraged. But the quality here is like long time stuck and stagnant, as in you learned long ago, supposedly, it's selfish to do what makes you happy. Can you even consciously relate to that? Mm-hmm. May I suggest, if you dump that belief, your life will be so much better. And that idea may not even be true. Like, I help people quite a lot, and I'm having a ball. And I do what I want pretty much every minute of my waking hours, every single day. So there. And my Soulful's doing pretty well. If you want to use my skills that I teach to read me, I'm not scared. I put my photos out there for people to do. I'm not going to hide behind my photo when anyone with skills can read it. Yeah. So let's go on to what's going on with the root chakra data bank for physical health. Just at this time in our baseline. It's out 40 feet. And wow, is this fascinating. It's as though your physical body, your physical health, stewardship of your physical body, you have been so honorably and deeply committed to it for so long that this is real in the way that probably none of your other chakra data banks are. Not that you're not really here, more that in terms of how you've been pursuing your emotional growth and spiritual growth and personal growth, there's been a kind of axiom at work, which is sound mind in a sound body. I'm going to get that body right. It's within my control to fix it. I'm going to get it working great, and then I'll have everything, as much as it's possible. Well, that actually has limits. And you're bumping against those limits, and that's one reason you're here, huh? Mm-hmm. But it sure shows the impact of your determination and persistence, and you're good at this because there's a lot of health in your physical health chakra data bank. At the same time, I will just mention, since my specialty happens to be RES, energy spirituality, that there's quite a bit of stuff stuck in here, like keep out life. As long as my body's okay, I'm safe. You stay away. People stay away. Other things stay away. Changes to my life stay away. I don't want to really deal with you very much. I have my job, and it's making sure my body's good. And the rest of it is nonsense, and I don't believe in it right now. And as far as I'm concerned, you can all go to hell. Not that you have swearing necessarily in your conscious mind, or, it's just the best words I can find. Mm-hmm. I have encountered quite a lot of people who have reacted to life and have had some stuff stuck in them for a long time. And it's that person's way of doing their best. Like, I've belonged to many gyms over the years. It might not be obvious from my muscles, but I've gone to lots of gyms. And you go to just about any gym and you will meet people who are on a very physical path, mm-hmm. with variations of anguish, emotional and spiritual things stuck. And the person's way of overcoming that is to just hunker down and be maybe a bit of a perfectionist about the body, and those other things aren't real as long as I focus on that. Mm-hmm. Any comments?
Yeah, I've been focusing a lot on health and physical wellness.
And what I invite you to do is to continue to focus on that and also focus on some of the other things.
That's what brought me here, I think.
What a coincidence.
You can't have one without the other.
Well, it's nice that sometimes life opens up to us and it turns out there's more to it than we expected. Mm-hmm. So now over to the emotional growth baseline data bank. Well, right now that's flatlining. It's in shutdown just for now. And the quality is, I feel good when my body's healthy. So when I take good care of my body, I'm growing emotionally. As logic goes, like out in the world logic, it might not make that much sense, but that's been the modus operandi for your subconscious mind for a while in that data bank about emotional growth. But you've voluntarily, nobody forced you, Gladys, voluntarily you've gotten here, including this bit of RES energy reading and an opportunity to learn more about what emotional growth for you could be. Wow! And you've even handled pretty well being in a workshop for a day and a half now with Ms. Emotion Hyper. Not that I'm exaggerating it, I'm made this way. Ever since I was tiny in this lifetime, emotions just rip through me and they pop right off of my face and in my voice, and I move a lot. And there's lots of ways of being human. And some people just can't stand me because of that. So 3 cheers for you that you will tolerate someone who is so way out there with emotions. Anyway, back to you. Let's go over to the spiritual growth. We did that. We've done all 4. We've done our baseline. That's great, because now we can do your first research item, which is eating what kind of food? Wheat. And just a little disclaimer here. This is research about you now for the next 2.5 to 3 months. It is not like for the rest of your lifetime. Mm-hmm. What you do during this time will impact how you respond later. So for now, this is eating just regular old wheat. Mm-hmm. And now, are you going to be making a distinction between one kind of wheat and another? Mm-hmm. So what are the 2 types of wheat you want me to research as separate research items, Gladys?
Regular natural wheat as opposed to genetically modified wheat.
Mm-hmm. So when you say natural, you mean organic?
Organic, how it was many years ago.
Well, since I'm researching you now, let's say organic wheat.
Okay.
Because if you want something that's not GMO,
it has to be organic.
It has to be organic these days, at least for research purposes. This way we're clear, because if I don't know what I'm researching, I'm not going to do a good job for you. I want to do good. Mm-hmm. All right, so this is researching organic wheat. Starting off with the soul thrill. Oh boy, and we don't even have to cook it or make you dress in it. It's like a wheat dress, sort of like Lady Gaga, but different. Back soon. Well, this really flatlines, and it's interesting the way it flatlines, as in an eighth of an inch and stuck. Your soul is like stuffed, overfed, and annoyed with all the, pardon my saying, the sanctimony about virtue choices with organic and with food, and if only the food is pure enough, that's going to give me a life. If your soul were an image, it would be somebody in jail behind bars, clutching the bars and hearing, oh, now you're going to be liberated out of the jail cell because we're going to give you organic weed. It's like, oh, fuck. Sorry. Let's go on now. It's a different data bank. That's just the response of your soul. Yeah, I've been told emotions rip through me, and sometimes I turn bright red, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's happening right now. Impact on physical health. See, we do different data banks. Usually we would do 10 data banks for this research, not just 4, but we're doing a taste here, as it were. What will it be? Yeah, it's my delight. It flatlines, and the quality of shutdown in this 1/8 inch big data bank of that physical health is, it clogs you up, it makes you as close to stupid as you could be, given that you're a really smart woman.
Wow. And that's organic wheat.
Yeah, on your system.
Yep.
And over to emotional growth on organic wheat. Flat lines. There's a quality of becoming, now I've been with you in workshop and today, and you have beautiful manners, you really do. Wonderful social skills. So please don't take it amiss when I say the impact of organic wheat on your emotional growth is a kind of clunkiness in relationships because of dullness. Where those great things about you, it's like there are eyeglasses that are clear that help people see better, and then there could be eyeglasses that are so full of fingerprints and smudges that you really don't see better with them. When you eat organic wheat, that's what happens to you as a social person with emotional growth. It's like you're not really doing what you think you could be doing because it is really not that good for your mind, body, spirit system. Even if you're talking to other people who eat organic wheat, that doesn't seem to matter for this. But there's an easy remedy, and I bet you can figure out what that is.
Don't need it.
Or at least, not often. And then over to spiritual growth. What's the impact of? Ooh, organic. One of the things I wind up doing in work with energy reading skills of RES is to smash up kinds of, you could call it idolatry or idealism or sanctimony around certain spiritual practices or certain ways of eating. And I apologize for hurting feelings. And of course, some of you listening or watching, your feelings might be hurt so much you never want to have anything to do with Rose Rosetree again for at least 10 minutes or maybe for the rest of your life. I don't have any malice here. I have no special agenda. Many people do think that if what you eat is pure, that means you're going to grow more spiritually. So let's find out about organic wheat. It flatlines, and there's a familiar emptiness to how spiritual life is for you, just related to the eating organic wheat. A kind of familiar feeling like, I thought life was going to be so good. I thought I was going to be able to grow a lot. It's all hype. It sucks living on Earth. It's not a place for people who want to grow spiritually. I do everything, it matters not. Any comments?
It's just so amazing to me that a food would affect my aura so deeply and so specifically.
Every choice you make does, and very deeply and specifically, that means stage 3 energetic literacy, reading chakra databanks. And you can learn how to do it. Absolutely. Now, let's go to a different research item. What's next?
Sugar.
Mm-hmm. And so thrilled having sugar. This goes out to the moon. It's an overfunctioning reaction. And there's a joy and a giddiness and a yummy, yummy, yummy. Then we add it, whoa! Soul reaction. Then impact on physical health. There's somebody else who likes sugar, apparently, who's watching here. It's medium in size, and the quality is that it disrupts the system a little bit. That's the price that's paid for the enjoyment. And you're flexible enough in your system to be able to have sugar from time to time. As someone who facilitates emotional and spiritual healing, I will just mention the nuance that there's blaming and fear and guilt around eating sugar. But it's really just that there are ideas about eating sugar that go deeply into your subconscious mind, where you have plenty of stuff so far about feeling guilty and stuck and bad, and you're so frail you could be ruined easily. And that can all be healed. So far with your physical health, it's actually not that bad, especially if you're not believing that it could hurt you. And then over to emotional growth. Medium. There's a kind of sociability quality, and this might sound funny, but why would that stop me, right? You are not a snobby person. However, consider you have invested so much with belief and sometimes sacrifice and daring to speak truth to people who didn't want to hear it about these things you do that help with physical health. Consider that there's a tendency to think that if you are with people and you're all eating sugar together, that this is a guilty pleasure and it's not really good for any of you. Can your conscious mind relate to that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that might be optional.
Yeah.
And, because you work in the field of nutrition, among other things, the mind is very powerful. It's like the placebo effect. And if you're really believing something's bad and dangerous, there could be consequences just from that. Yeah. And then finally, impact on your spiritual growth. Having sugar. Very, 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 very large. I don't mean a diet of sugar. I mean some treats from time to time. That the quality of the data bank is that you stop micromanaging and trying to control so many aspects of your life out of the desire to do what's right. Control has its limits, All right, what's the next item?
Chicken.
Oh, you wanted to do the other kind of wheat?
Sure.
Let's do one or two data banks. So this is
GMO'd wheat, or genetically modified wheat.
Yes.
What we get commonly.
So starting off just with a soul thrill here. It flatlines, and it is not helpful, kind of gums you up. Plus there's a kind of overlay of the belief, this is dangerous, this could hurt people, watch out. And then just over to physical health, and then maybe we can let this one go.
Mm-hmm.
It's medium. It's so funny. It's medium because when things are made with a GMO'd wheat, like bread, and the people are baking it or making the cookies or whatever, they're not doing that baking with the idea food is dangerous unless it's pure. Instead, there's just a, hey, it's healthy, it's okay, it's food, it's fun to make it. There's an idea from Hinduism that's sort of relevant here. You don't have to become a Hindu to like this or have Shiva as your chosen ideal. There's an idea, don't have someone of lower caste prepare your food. And we all know the caste system is revolting and India's doing best to move past it. But the idea behind it is, as I understand this, the consciousness of the cook has a big impact on the energetic makeup of the food that is cooked. So don't have somebody cooking your food who puts in something that would be icky emotionally and spiritually. Now, it's kind of ironic because it could well be that people who work for bakeries where it is organic are paid even less than people who work for like the big commercial bakeries. Mm-hmm. But it's also possible that many of the places where people are doing the organic, they're putting into it some of what we've found in your aura reading. I must do it the right way. Otherwise, it's dangerous. Otherwise, people are at risk. Otherwise, people don't grow spiritually. If it's not pure, it's bad for people. And the Keebler elves or whoever are baking the regular old tinkered with wheat, when they do the baking, they're thinking, oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Unlike many obese people in America, I don't mind being obese. I've learned to live with it or whatever.
Wow.
Nothing like aura reading to smash through some illusions. Let's go on to the next one.
Chicken.
So now we're researching chicken and going on over to the soul thrill. It's enormous, very, very, very large. And the quality here is your body right now loves animal protein. I mean, loves, needs, benefits from. Chicken is a good, clean one for you. Please give me enough protein. Chicken would do. Then let's go on over to physical health. Very, 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 very large. It is so important for helping you now because you're starting to wake up spiritually and inhabit your human life. One of my favorite sayings that I made up about food is, because it took me a long time to discover this, are you feeding your body or are you feeding your ideology?
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So emotional growth, somebody eating chicken, very, 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 very large. It really frees you to get out of this prison of rigid control of the pure things and back into taking reasonably good care of yourself, using your skills to help people take good care of themselves and not living in a prison of food perfection. I mean, chickens are not the most dignified animals, but we don't need to have perfection in human life. If we do, we're going to be very unhappy because it doesn't exist. Over to spiritual growth, very, 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 very large. It is one of the best things you could do for your spiritual life to have plenty of chicken because it helps you wake up and function more and your cells go, wee, wee, I'm alive. You know, dead people or semi-dead people or undernourished people do not progress as fast spiritually. So chicken ain't so bad. We've got one more thing to research. What is it?
Lamb.
Eating lamb. Soul thrill for you, eating lamb. Oh, does that ever flatline? Oh my gosh. The quality here is that the nature of lambs, those are baby sheep, right? Mm-hmm. The nature of them is that they have tremendous sensitivity and vulnerability for a mammal of that size. And they're also the most frightened animals who are mammals.
Yeah.
And for you, maybe you've already had some fears in your life, because for you to eat that kind of animal, it has a consciousness of tremendous fear.
Wow.
And this is not something that helps you. I mean, chickens, bless them, you know, they're not known for being super bright, but they're also not that scared. But, oh, lambs. This is not like Mary had a little lamb. This is little lamb going to slaughter and going, oh, yeah. It's like, what I think of here is when I was learning the fancy part of transcendental meditation, where you learn the flying technique. And I would be in a flying hall with other ladies, and we'd be doing this technique. There was one woman who actually looked a little bit like a sheep. And as soon as we'd start, off and on, she would do the most blood-curdling screams. Oh, it was so refined. I mean, you know, like, only with sound, again and again, like for 6 weeks or however long we were doing that. She never stopped screaming. Maybe the TM City program wasn't as helpful as you might think for assisting her in moving out some stuff. But in any case, when I think of lambs, I actually think of that. Back at you. Physical health, flat lines. It's very hard for your body to digest it. Your body doesn't like eating the main meat associated with terror. You could call it terrorist food, only not exactly. And over to emotional growth as someone eating lamb. Flatlines, because there is denial of fear in you. It comes from dealing with lamb. And I'm going to be asking you for a quick conclusion when we're done with this research item. Over to the impact on your spiritual growth, eating some lamb. Flat lines, it's confusing to you. And I'd say, a little more detail, it's not that spiritually there's something wrong with eating one dead body versus a different kind of dead body. Except maybe humans, that's off the table. But you knew that. Spiritually, it is just confusing to you to be voluntarily putting something into your body that increases fearfulness. That's the problem. So, quick conclusion from all this research. What are you thinking? Anything shock you?
About the weed was shocking that something that I've been ingrained to think is very bad for me was actually in my aura, actually not as harmful because of the energy put into the preparation of the food. I've never really consciously taken that into account, maybe on some levels, but now it's right there for me to notice. Mm-hmm. So it really shifted a lot of the things that I thought were fact. They're not.